afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to In the Mix. It's my co-host, Adis Kuchevich. I'm Jay Boyle.
Yep.
Happy to be with you. And biggest news we've learned in the last 24 hours. We heard that a bunch of free agents and everybody want to hit Tampa Bay, go to the Bucs to play with Tom Brady. And we've now seen that come true as Rob Gronkowski has now been dealt to the Bucs. And even a guy like Percy Harvin, who's been retired since 2015, he wants to come out of retirement to play with Tampa Bay as well. What do you make out of all of this? Rob going to join his friend Brady, and they've already posted a video on Instagram together as well.
I honestly, I couldn't believe it when you told me like Gronk was coming. Like, out of everyone, I thought Gronk was having so many issues post retirement, but apparently the only guy he's willing to come back for is Brady. And I'm telling you, this shows the Brady effect. This guy's turning 43, and him joining a team. This Tampa Bay went all in with Brady. Like this just shows that they think they can actually compete for a Super Bowl this year. That they're willing to pick up a guy who's coming off retirement, who's complaining about all these issues he had and injuries and all this stuff. They're willing to pick him up because they know it'll make Brady happy. And just those two, like, okay, of course those two, their best days are behind them, right? We can both agree on that. But the chemistry they have, like, Gronk can still be a big problem, especially in the red zone. And, like, when I was looking at it, their head coach, Bruce Arians, whatever his name is, he doesn't use tight ends as much as other teams do.
Well, now he's got two, so he's going to have to.
But, yeah, so I was going to say, I was looking at last year's numbers. The T only had 51 targets. Gronk in his last two seasons had 72 and 101 targets. You know, like, you're gonna have to bump up your playbook, focusing on tight ends now. And, like, again, this is the Brady effect. This guy comes in at 42 years old onto a team, and this team's all in. This team's ready to win a championship.
Yeah,
it's
so
crazy.
At the moment of recording, I don't think Gronkowski has passed his physical yet, but we'll all assume that he will.
Oh, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, with flying colors apparently.
So, going back to what you said originally, I don't know if he really had, post-retirement issues. I think it was more issues while he was playing. I think in retirement, he's been quite happy. Maybe dealt with the common symptoms of, depression when you leave pro sports and maybe some mental health side effects. But I guess for him, it's worth the risk. And this is going to be nuts. Think back to how Brady played when he had Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski lining up together, right? Now, O.J. Howard, I don't think is as good as Aaron Hernandez was, and Gronkowski's not as good as he used to be. But also to keep in mind, when they had those two going, Brady didn't have the wideouts that he has now. He didn't have a Mike Evans. He didn't have a Chris Godwin. Like 2,000-yard receivers. But the one thing Brady doesn't have that he's always had is an elite slot receiver, whether it's Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. Brady goes to the slot receiver so much, especially on third down. So he's going to have to adjust, and does either Chris Goodwin or Mike Evans kind of transition into that slot area? And like you said, Bruce Arians generally doesn't use tight ends, and now he's got to integrate two into his starting kind of sets. So is he going to be able to make that adjustment like a Bill Belichick would have been?
Oh, yeah. But
do you
think this changes anything for Tampa, adding in Gronk?
I think so. Like, in terms of contention, I think raises them a little bit closer towards contending for a Super Bowl for sure. Just getting another weapon out there for Brady, but it's all going to come down to Brady needs time in the pocket. Is your O-line going to hold up? I think their defense is going to be solid, and Brady will make their defense solid. We talked about a couple episodes ago, right?
Yeah.
No more 30 interceptions you got to deal with starting on your own 20 and pick sixes, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say, the size of Gronk, not only is he going to be effective as a tight end, him blocking is going to open up a lot, I feel like, in the running game for Tampa. Because I don't even know who the running back is currently. But I know that they don't focus a lot on their running game.
Not anymore.
But with an addition like him at tight end, that opens up a lot of options for running backs.
But now what's going to be the domino effect? Gronkowski had a year left on his contract. He's a $10 million cap hit. Now, they didn't even want to look at bringing in a guy like Antonio Brown because of the salary cap reasons. So now you bring in that $10 million. Do you have other holes that you still need to fill on your roster heading into the draft? Are they going to have to shed some salary in other places? And I think this could have some
Possibly.
repercussions going into the draft Thursday night.
What are you saying? That yeah, but the whole Antonio Brown thing that you're saying, it wasn't just the money.
No, but I'm
There
saying
was
like,
other things that they didn't want to pick him up for.
yeah, for sure. But I think they're right up against the cap now. So if they have other holes they need to fill, it's either going to be have to filled just by draft picks
Do you see any holes that they need to fill?
on their defense, and I think their O line as well is what I've
I
been
was gonna
reading.
say maybe did they got rid of Barrett, right?
No, Shaq Barrett.
Still on the
Why
team?
would you get? Why would you get rid of Shaq Barrett, one of the best
I was
defensive
under
ends
the
in the
impression he
league?
wasn't on the team anymore. That's what I was gonna say. Maybe they might need to work on their defense a bit.
No, I could guarantee you he's there.
If he's still there, then I don't see much holes in that
Yeah.
team, man. Offensively, they're set. Defensively, they've always been good. So
Now, I believe, just off the recollection, they had an elite rush defense, but their pass defense was like bottom 3 in the league last year.
yeah.
Or maybe it was the other way around. So they're gonna have to upgrade the defense a little bit. Probably their top draft picks, first 3 rounds, are gonna go
Okay, but
towards the defensive end of the ball.
here's the thing. Think about this. Who's their main competition in the NFC?
In the
San
entire
Fran. No?
New Orleans, Seattle,
Maybe New Orleans.
Seattle,
I'm thinking Seattle or what's it called? San
San
Fran.
Francisco.
Both those guys rely a lot on their rushing. Having a good rush defense is gonna help a lot against those teams.
Yeah, 100%. And let me just confirm those numbers for you. What was their rush defense last year? But other than that, do you think they're Super Bowl contenders now? Does this make that much of a difference?
Hey, yeah, I can't go against the GOAT. I said as soon as they got Brady, that's where they're headed towards contending for a Super Bowl. They're not just looking to, win in their division or just, these small little victories. No, I feel like, and they've shown with this pickup of Gronk that they're all in. They think that this could be their year.
Yeah, so they were first in the league with rushing yards against, but 30th for passing yards.
See, yeah, maybe you can work on some cornerbacks.
That's what I'm saying. Their secondary needs some help. But that's a good point you made because San Fran and Seattle, I mean, Seattle, I don't understand why they rely on the running game so much, but San Fran is definitely a running team. So
Yeah,
come those playoff matchups, even
I'm
Green
saying,
Bay, Aaron Rodgers is getting older, so his
yeah,
pass isn't as lethal.
I'm telling you, man. I think that like they're putting themselves in the best position to make it out of the NFC. Whether they can beat someone like Kansas, I don't know yet.
No, I don't think so. I still think I would take San Francisco over them. Might even take Seattle. But Seattle, it's mind-boggling to me how another offseason goes and you don't get Russell Wilson more help. This is top 3 QB in the league. And
Yeah.
who does he have to throw the ball to these days?
Lockett?
And Lockett and what was the rookie last season rookie? DK Metcalf, who can
Yeah,
only run
yeah.
Hail Marys and go up for jump balls. And it's just mind-boggling. And every season, they run the ball first down, run the ball second down. 3rd and 12, Russell Wilson, go bail us out. And he usually does. But then come the playoffs, you can't do it every single series. Russell, go 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. Not
I
to get
know.
kind of sidetracked here, but that's just one organization that I'll never understand for the life of me.
I mean, again, like if you look at the NFC, I feel like Tampa, they're up there.
Yeah, you've already said
They're
that.
up there
Thank you.
as favorites to make it out. Like the best teams in the NFC are rushing teams.
Hmm.
Unless maybe Breeze comes back rejuvenated and wanting to win something with New Orleans.
You don't think that he will, that's a given, that New Orleans is going to come ready, locked and loaded?
I don't know how they're gonna be looking, man. Especially I don't know how Drew Brees is gonna be looking. He missed a lot of last season.
I think Vikings, they were pretenders last season. They'll be pretenders again.
Who?
So the Vikings.
Oh, fair enough.
LA Rams, we spoke about it last episode. They're trying to do a retool, or we'll see what happens Thursday at the draft, whether they're trying to rebuild fully or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
hit on the nose. San Fran, Seattle, New Orleans, Green Bay. That's the competition in the NFC. But I'm still, like I said, San Fran and Seattle, I'm taking them both over Tampa Bay as of right now.
Really? I don't know, man. I'm starting to lean towards the Tampa Bay way.
The Brady way, eh?
Exactly.
I think you've
You
always been
can't doubt the GOAT, bro.
you've always been a
And
clo-
there's a reason. There's a reason they're going all in. They're like this
you've
because
always
look,
you've always
he's
been a
42.
closeted Brady fan. I knew it.
No, but I'm saying Brady's 42. He's turning 43. How much does he have left in him?
Yeah,
If it,
and you think he's got a lot.
I think this could be very well his last chance. And again,
You better hope for Tampa Bay it's not, since they're giving him 30 million for the next 2 years each.
oh, it was a 50 million 2-year deal. 25. Not too bad.
I thought there was a 30 in there.
No. But
All right,
either way, you're gonna give a guy like Brady that. You're not gonna give him any less. He's the GOAT. You know? Far from it too.
how much weight do you think Gronk's got to put back on? Because he's lost like about half of his body
Apparently, they're saying
since
because he passed the physicals, and they said that he bulked back up, and he's back to his like weight that he was at before he retired.
I don't know. I saw him post a TikTok video a couple days ago. He did not look like the way he looked when
Same,
he
bro.
played.
Give us some time, bro. Give us some time. We'll make it.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm just surprised though, because I remember, I don't know what the meet it was. They were holding some meeting, and he was speaking at it. And he was speaking about all the issues, all the mental health issues he had, and the physical injuries, and like took on him, and he started crying and stuff. You remember that? Getting choked up.
yeah, I do. But
That's where I was like, okay, this
the
guy's really
difference
not in
being,
football.
he lives in Miami now. His guy Brady goes to Tampa Bay, and he's like, I can get another ring.
I know, yeah. He said that the only team he's willing to come back for is Tampa Bay.
Yeah, well, for Brady, Brady could have ended up on the Jaguars, and he would have gone there, 'cause still in Florida. Another interesting caveat, though, Rob Gronkowski now holds a WWE belt. The
A what?
24 he
Oh yeah, I
he
seen that
holds the
24/7.
24/7 belt. So I'm interested to see, is the WWE going to let him out of his WWE contract?
There's
Which,
no way, bro. He
hold
has a
on,
contract with WWE,
he does.
like a wrestling contract.
Yes, he has a contract with the WWE. So this tells me how quick this decision was, because he signed that contract, I think, max a couple months ago.
Yeah,
So this is how quickly, as soon as Brady signed in Tampa, he's like, I want to go back to football. So is the WWE gonna let him out of his contract,
100%.
or
They,
or are the Buccaneers potentially gonna say, we'll let you compete in WWE events in the state of Florida?
okay,
That could be
that sounds
crazy.
very. Listen,
We have seen dual sport athletes. We've never seen a dual sport athlete
okay.
with
You don't
WWE.
see a dual sport athlete having to play football, which is already so taxing on the body, and then go do wrestling. As much as wrestling is fake and stuff, those guys put their bodies through hell. There's no way that he's gonna be able to do both.
Yeah, but
Especially this, we're talking about Gronk here. We're not talking about a 19-year-old, 20-year-old football player. We're playing a guy who's had injuries, who's had all these issues in the past.
well,
He's not gonna come do both. There's no way.
listen, I don't watch wrestling, but if Gronk was doing both at the same time, I'd be watching wrestling.
Oh,
If the WWE is smart, they try and find a way. I don't think it's totally far fetched that he could do it. He's not doing full fledged events, man. He's doing like one little fight per event.
I know, but
He's a
still.
marketing ploy.
Okay, here's the thing though. Okay, of course they'll tell them, hey, we're not gonna put him in any crazy matches. What if he's playing for Tampa? Tampa's on going on a, they're all headed towards playoffs, looking like favorites to make it at the NFCs, and he gets injured in a wrestling match. How stupid is he gonna look? Or how stupid is
You're
Tampa gonna look for letting him do that?
you're totally right. I have no rebuttal to that. I'm just saying it would be very interesting to watch that go down.
It would be, but I don't see it happening.
All right, you have anything left to say on the matter of Rob coming back out of retirement?
Other than it being surprising, not really. You gotta see him in practice or something
You know,
to really judge.
we'll see how this affects long term. Like, we were heading down the path where there's quite a few NFL players retiring young, right? Started kind
Yeah.
of with Megatron, you had Andrew Luck, and you had about 5, 6 other guys in between, defensive players, O linemen.
Mm.
It's the first time we've seen one of those guys come back out of retirement beside Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch was kind of in his own category
Yeah.
altogether. Uh, so I'm curious to see if one day Gronkowski will write a book, right? And
Yeah.
tell us, why did you actually retire? Was it the concussions, which he said was a big factor at the time? Was it beat down on the body. And how could
Yeah.
you possibly, speaking of all those things, make the decision to come back and play football again?
Brady effect, man.
Yeah, but you can't just chalk it up to the Brady effect because at the end of the day, he was playing with Tom Brady when he left.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, there's some planning going on here. Maybe Brady was like, you know what? I think this will be my last year. Gronk's guy. I'm gonna get out of here. Gronk gets out of there. Brady thinks about switch. Now he does switch teams. Who do you think he's giving a call to?
Yeah, but Gronk also had 1 year left on his contract. It's not like he had bare years left.
Yeah, but he was in retirement at the same time.
No, but
But
I'm
he wasn't
saying when
planning
he
on coming
retired,
back.
it's not like he had 3 years left and Brady was like, "Oh, I only got 1 year. I'm gonna stay here." Gronk would have just played out the last year too.
Yeah.
Something's going on that we don't know about, and it's just to me, I'm dumbfounded as to how somebody could make those two decisions
But
separately.
he also,
Leave
you did
football for
say
these
though,
reasons and come back.
he's living in Miami. Maybe he saw a perfect opportunity. You know, this guy's coming over to Florida. I'm in Florida.
Yeah,
This
and
work.
I'm fairly certain he's not gonna practice very much during training camp. He'll get used to taking hits again during the week. I feel like he's not gonna take contact, but it's still you're going out on that football field in advertently, inadvertently, heads are gonna hit your head, shoulders are gonna hit your head. You're gonna fall on your head like you do every time. Gronk always goes up for these balls, ends up falling on his back or his neck.
And hey, if these other players sense some weakness, they're gonna go head on to Gronk. You know, they're not gonna let him go easy. So if he's ready to play, he better know
And
he's gonna take those hits.
he's a guy who's gone on the record in the past and said, they're trying to curb head hits, but now guys just target my knees, and then my knees are gonna go.
What would you rather go, your knees or your head?
I know, but those are words that came out of Mr. Gronkowski's mouth in the past.
I get it though. The injuries can fuck you up. Yeah.
All right, I think we'll move on from the NFL stuff. We'll come back to this after the draft. I'm assuming Thursday night's gonna be ridiculous. It's an online draft.
Yeah, no, I want to see how that's gonna work out.
Hopefully, there's no hacking, which some people are afraid of.
Pick up a freaking bench play.
Over under 2.5 technical issues for the entire night.
Yeah.
First round. What do you say? Over 2.5 technical issues or under?
Under.
Under? I'm going
Yeah,
over. I think it's gonna
the
be a shit
NFL,
show.
baby. The NFL, bro.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a shit show. Mics are gonna be left on when they shouldn't be. You're gonna hear the Giants talking about who they want to draft. They're gonna go to Carolina when they should be going to Jacksonville. It's gonna be a shit show. I'm telling you.
They're not gonna be making mess ups like that. This is still the NFL. They're professional.
That's what you hope. All right, we'll be moving on to some NBA talk. All right, getting into some NBA talk that we're manufacturing ourselves since there's been a lack of storylines the last 5 weeks now. Well, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, I think they're making up.
Yeah, I heard that neither player is gonna be traded. So
Yeah, so this debate we've seen had on shows like First Take and stuff like that, but we thought they were missing a big point when they got into this discussion. You have two big rookies this year, right? Zion Williamson, the prodigy. Everybody saw him coming. And then you have a guy who slid from potentially a top 5 pick to, okay, he's going to be a top 3, to ended up being the number 2 overall pick in Ja Morant. Ja got off to an electric start. And then not that he fell off. He kind of tapered. Guys figured him out a little bit. And then Zion came on late, obviously, because he was injured all season.
yeah,
But we wanted to discuss. If you're building a championship, or a franchise, you're chasing a championship, and you have to build your team around one or the other of those two guys. Who are you taking? I'll give you the floor, my friend.
bro, you already know who I'm taking. Okay,
Tell
so
the
I'm
people.
gonna put these two players. I'm not gonna say either name or anything.
Okay.
So one player for his team, he's the leading scorer on his team. He leads the
This is
team in assists.
already a dumb argument. I can tell you
Listen,
that much.
he leads the team in assists, right?
Yeah.
He's a primary ball handler on the team,
Yeah.
primary playmaker on the team, and
Yep.
as I said, since he's leading scorer, he's their number one option on offense.
Yep.
Now you got another guy on this side who's only played 19 games. Not when we're talking about building a team around. 19 games.
Yep. What did he
Has
do in
lost
those
9.
19 games?
Of those 19 games, has lost 9 of those.
Yep.
I get it. What is he averaging? 23 points a game? About, I'd say.
He's averaging 23.6.
23.6. His team's still not even in a playoff position with him playing 19 games. Even though they were only a few
How's
games behind 8. They were only a few games behind 8. They still lost 9, meaning that he didn't make
Yeah, well, hold on.
the greatest difference.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
But those first, 5, 6 games, he was only playing 15, 20 minutes a game. Remember that. And that
Okay.
first game he played, when he was splashing, going off, they took him out. When he clearly should have been, if he had continued, they would have won. He'd have 5 straight
Hey,
three-pointers.
they took him out for a reason. I don't know what it was, but they took him
He was
out.
on a minute restriction. What do you mean?
Hmm?
He was
Yeah, I
on a
know.
minute
But at
restriction.
that point, screw the minute restriction.
Did you watch The Last Dance?
Huh?
MJ was on a minute restriction of 14 minutes.
We're talking about MJ.
If
Bro.
Michael
We're talking
Jordan,
about
if
MJ
Michael
here,
Jordan
bro.
can be on a minute restriction, Zion Williamson can be on a minute
Okay.
restriction. Get out
So
of here.
okay,
Finish
so
your
I've
point.
laid out those 2 players.
Yeah.
You're telling me you'd rather build the team around the guy with the second option, the guy with only playing 19 games, sure leads the team in scoring, but besides scoring, he's undersized at his position. So defensively, he's always gonna have trouble there. Morant
Really?
at his position. What do you mean? Zion is an undersized power forward.
Okay, sure, but trouble out his position. The guy's a bloody freak of nature.
He's a freak of nature, but I'm saying defensively, he's gonna have some troubles. Think about him guarding a
Yeah,
guy
sure.
like
And you
Giannis.
think Ja Morant is a fantastic defender?
But he's built for his position. He's a tall guy for his position, actually. You know?
Uh,
And he's
okay.
unapologetic. My thing with that guy is he's unapologetic. This guy was going at players like Harden, and he's a rookie this year.
No, I like
You
the
know,
fire in his
the
stomach for
confidence
sure.
is there, and
Yeah.
and the results are there too. Because his team went from a team that people disregarded, didn't even talk about, to now they're in the 8th spot, and people are looking at, oh shit, they might be matching up with Lakers. Of course, Lakers are gonna win that first round if they were to start the playoffs today.
Yeah.
But the fact is, he made the ultimate difference to his team. And this is where I'm going at with this argument.
Okay. Before I get to why all that stuff is irrelevant, I'm gonna just dispel some of your arguments. All right.
Yeah.
Who cares that the guy's only played 19 games? We're building a franchise moving forward for the future, trying to build a championship contender here. I
So
don't
you
care.
don't care that the
I don't
guy's
care the
injured?
kid's only played 19 games. He's healthy now. I'm looking at the medical reports. He's fine. I
Okay.
saw what he's done his whole life, college career, 19 games. You can tell that talent is there. So that's not that big of a deal. It's a factor, but not that big of a deal. All right. Ja Morant, I love what you're doing. All right. 26% usage percentage. He's got the ball in his hand a lot, as he should. You know, between him and Dylan Brooks are the best players on the team, and he's better than Dylan Brooks. But here's what it comes down to for me at the end of the day. How many teams, let's say in the last 20 years, have won an NBA championship with their point guard being their best player? One. Steph Curry, 2015, Golden State Warriors. You want me to go through the list? Tell me which, and you could say probably this year, Lakers, LeBron. And you know why that is? It's extremely difficult to win in the playoffs when your point guard is tasked with handle the ball up the court every single possession, play make for other guys, and score yourselves. We saw it with Steve Nash. Guy won 2 MVPs, averaging 25 in the playoffs, 10 assists. It's so hard to get your team those wins and dubs when you have to do everything for the point guard position. Unless you're a guy like LeBron James, who's, you know, a 6'8", 6'9" point guard. It's tremendously difficult. You can go through every year. It hasn't been done, and that's the reason. Look at the teams, all right? Raptors. If Kyle Lowry was your best player, you're not winning nothing. Even when he was the second best, like, it was tough. You had to bring in Kawhi Leonard. Look at teams like Washington. Why has John Wall never done nothing in the playoffs and Bradley Beal? Well, when your point guard is your best player. You know,
You're
why
gonna
is Kyrie,
disregard injuries.
sorry?
You're gonna disregard injuries for John Wall.
No, but that obviously this season. I'm saying in the past, why isn't he able to do much in the playoffs?
Okay. Well, when was the last time you seen John Wall play in a playoff game?
2 years ago. It might be 3 years ago. But I'm just saying, for as an example, find me
Yes.
a team that can even go on a run, make a finals, the point guard being their best player. Doesn't happen. So why would I build my team over a point guard who's not reconnect your video, pal?
There
Why
we
would I
go.
build my team over a point guard when it's the winning formula is not going to be there? You need to have that small forward or power forward who can do multiple things on the court as your best player, your go-to guy, who can get you buckets in different ways, and a three-level score. Zion Williamson, we know he can score inside. His mid-range is okay. We've seen
Yeah.
we've seen sequences where his perimeter shooting is good. Ja Morant, he's decent three-point shooter mid-range. he attacks the basket, but his finishing isn't there yet either. Like, he tries to dunk on these guys when it's like, dude, just lay it up and you'll get it. So
It's the
you you
that's
you
that's the
need
young man in him,
versatility.
bro.
No, I get that, but you need versatility in your best player to win a championship. I can take you through all the last 20 NBA winners. There's only one team that's won with their point guard being the best player, and that was Stephen Curry. And
Wait,
that's even an outlier because he's the best shooter of all time.
were you telling me that Zion spaces the floor better? Was
No,
Morant is more
no,
versatile offensively?
no. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I'm saying talking about 3-level scorers, like what
Okay.
they're gonna be at in their primes. I think Zion could be a really good 3-level scorer. I don't know how Ja's gonna be going on the inside consistently in the playoffs when the paint gets smaller. Is he gonna be able to go in there and get you 15 points in the paint? Is what I'm saying.
Mhm. Okay.
You have anything rebuttal? I'm literally talking
That's your
about
whole
winning
piece?
here.
That's your whole piece.
I'm talking about winning. I gave you, what do you mean the whole piece? I just give you a 6-minute spiel.
Here's my
In
thing,
one year and
buddy.
out the other
Here is
year.
my thing, buddy. As you were saying, Morant early in the season was averaging probably about 20, maybe even over 20 points, right?
He's like 24
So
or something. Yeah.
yeah. Where is he at now? Now he took a big step back, 17 points a game, but he's averaging 7 assists a game.
Yeah.
Meaning that he himself is trying to make everyone around him better.
As he should,
You know,
as the point guard. Yeah.
exactly. And is he? There's a guy, Dylan Brooks, who's averaging 14.7 points a game.
Dylan Brooks is averaging more than that, I believe.
Huh?
I
And
think
what I
he's
saw was around that.
I think he's closer to 17 or something.
What I'm trying to get at is you're comparing a guy who's okay, Zion, I'll give it to him. He's dominant. He offensively, like he's great. But this guy, we're talking about franchise player. This Morant is gonna make every player on that team better.
And how's Zion not going to do the same when he's getting those double teams and guys are getting open looks?
Zion ain't gonna, what double teams are you putting on Zion?
Are you kidding me? This guy
You
gets
put
the
him on
ball in the
inside.
paint.
Listen, you put him on the inside.
Yes. Oh,
you put
okay.
a bigger man on him.
I'll let
that's how
you. I'll
guard
let
the
you.
guy.
I'll let you
That's
go
how you
first.
guard the guy.
Okay, bigger man. Giannis is
Yeah.
bigger than him, right?
Not the
Giannis is
weight.
Giannis is almost 7 feet. Zion is
Yeah.
think. Okay.
Giannis, I'm telling you, Giannis would have a good time guarding.
Okay. The last
Zion.
time Giannis guarded Zion ripped the ball out of his arms like Giannis was a baby,
Great. And
like
they
a
lost
child.
the game. And
Yeah, it's because
they lost.
his team's growing. They suck.
His-
But I'm saying,
no.
hold on. Give me a
You can't
second
give me
here.
the
Give me a
argument.
second here.
You put those two teams, take Ja Morant off Memphis, you take Zion off of Pelicans. Pelicans are a way better team. You can't even give me
Yeah,
the
sure.
team
But let me
argument.
finish. You don't let somebody explain their thoughts ever. All right. I don't even know what I was gonna get at there, but no, dude. For me, it comes down to when I'm building a team, I'm not just looking at what are they doing now. It's you're starting a team, you're building your franchise around your core player, your franchise player, what you're trying to project them into. And long term, I think Zion is gonna help me win more than Ja. You can find a decent point guard. Hey, hold on. You can find a decent point guard.
Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. You can find a decent point guard, the Kyle Lowrys, lots of those guys, the Dragic, whatever.
Yeah.
You cannot find, it's very difficult to find elite small forwards and elite power forwards. It's way tougher, and you know that. Every kid growing up plays point guard. Everybody wants to be a point guard. Name me the elite small forwards in this league. Besides KD, Giannis essentially plays the 3. It's harder to find elite small forwards and power forwards than point guards.
Where would you have Zion playing, though? Zion's playing the 4.
Yeah, I just said small forward or power forward. Do you listen when I
Name
speak?
me an elite power forward besides Giannis.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're a lot harder to find than point
They're a lot
guards.
harder to find, but also they're not that impactful.
Oh,
They're not.
Now you're saying Giannis is not?
Besides
Jeez.
Giannis and maybe AD, because AD had some success in New Orleans before joining up with LeBron.
Pascal Siakam?
You don't, huh?
Pascal Siakam?
Okay.
They're harder to find, but they contribute to winning. Small forward. Look at the history of the game.
But then if you name me the elite point guards, Russell
Steph Curry,
Westbrook,
Kyrie Irving, James
all
Harden,
seen the
Russell
finals.
Westbrook. What?
all have seen a finals.
Really? James Harden has seen the finals?
Okay, besides Harden. But he's
Russell
not,
Westbrook has seen one, and he sucked. And he wasn't the best player on that team. Kevin Durant, small forward, was. So thank you
Yeah.
for proving my point. Thank you.
Small forward, not a power forward, bitch.
I said small forward and power forward. You
Okay.
It's so
Okay.
hard for me to try and not swear when I converse with you. My God, just so
Yo,
utterly frustrating. There's no common sense understanding with you.
you said okay. So you would rather build. Okay, you brought up the whole everything that Zion only played 19 games came off an injury. That wouldn't play a factor. That plays a big factor.
No,
If a
we're
guy's
looking
coming
long
into the
term.
league
What
with
are
an
you talking
injury,
about?
how many times do players get
I'm not
tagged as
looking at.
injury prone?
Oh my
All
God.
the time. Who did this happen to? Joel Embiid missed his first NBA season. Why? He was injured.
Also, Philly
Since then,
wants to
he's been
tank.
constantly injured. How many times does that guy?
Okay,
That guy's
okay.
not played a full season yet.
You cannot say that because other guys in the past have had injury issues that Zion. Oh, he's guaranteed he's
No.
gonna be an
I'm
injury problem
saying
now.
is that injury that it will play a factor in you deciding on who you're building a franchise around. It does because we've
Now,
seen it go wrong. I'm not saying
yeah,
it will
we've
go
seen
wrong
it
in
go
his
wrong,
position. I'm saying
but
we've seen it go
I
wrong.
can't make that the sole factor when I see clearly Zion is a better option to build a franchise around than Ja Morant. If they were neck and neck
Why?
close,
Why is he better? Why
I
is he better
just
option?
told you for so many reasons. He's gonna be a more dominant player in this league by far. Mark my words.
I'm giving it to you straight. Morant is gonna make his team better, and has
Sure.
shown that he can elevate his team into a
Zion
playoff
is going to be
position.
a better player, and you can build around him. You can find him a decent point guard, and he'll go further in his career.
Will
Mark
that
my
translate
words.
to wins, or will that
Yes, I
translate
just
to
said we'll go
a
further in his
Boogie's on
career.
Sacramento situation? Where the player is elite,
Okay,
the
but
guy
Boogie,
was fighting for
Boogie,
MVP positions, still could never make the playoffs.
hold on. I will say, Zion's already got a better supporting cast around him than Boogie ever did.
Okay.
Okay, so that comparison and Boogie,
And his team is still not in the
and Boogie
playoff
was very
position.
selfish. Yeah, dude, it's the first year they were together, and they're very young. Relax.
It's the first year that Memphis was together.
No, what do you
This
mean?
Memphis team.
Everybody on Memphis has been there except for Ja. What are you talking about?
Their main players, Jonas Valanciunas, came on
last season,
year.
halfway through.
Yes.
Okay,
Ja Morant's first season.
One-
Dylan Brooks.
has been there 4 years, 5 years. 5 years Dylan Brooks has been there.
None of those guys
Brandon
were
Clark been there 3
in
years.
Yo, if you talk about Memphis of the past, you're talking about Conley. You're talking about Gasol. You're talking about those players. You're not talking about the guys
Yeah,
who are on the
no,
roster
for
right
sure.
now.
But these guys have been in that system learning for years. Okay, when did Ingram get there? This is his first year, right? Same with JJ Redick, same with Lonzo Ball, same with Zion Williamson. That's
And
4
one
of
team
your
has been
5
able,
main
and one
players.
team has been able to figure it out while the other team hasn't.
2 different circumstances is what I'm saying. You're not listening to me.
Buddy, listen. When Zion came back, right? He's played 19 games, correct? When he came back, his team was not far off being 8th spot. They were in the 11th. They were probably 3 games behind. He was still unable to push his team into a playoff position.
So
Because he didn't know that this season
hold
would be
on.
canceled like it is now.
Tell
So
me
there's
this. Tell me this. Memphis got into the playoff discussion probably in the last 4 or 5 weeks before the pause, right?
Longer than that. Memphis has been 8 forever, bro.
Are you dumb? They have not been 8 seed forever. Start of the season, they were losing. And it took Ja some games to figure out how to win, right? Going from, let me just try and score 25 to, like you said, okay, I'm only getting 17 now,
Make
but more
everyone
assists,
better.
make everyone better. So wouldn't Zion be allotted the same time?
We're talking about right now. We can't predict the future. I'm saying one guy's figured it out. One guy hasn't
Yes,
yet.
but
I can't say that this guy
But
can figure
I'm
it out.
looking to build a franchise. I'm not talking about what's going to happen right now. I'm talking
Yes.
down the road, 3-4 years. Zion would be allotted those same amount of games to figure it out like Ja Morant did through what does Ja Morant play? 60 games? 60 games, he was able to figure it out. Zion's only played a third of that. So in the long term, I'm talking years. He's going to do the same thing. Have that same
Would you rather choose the guy who's figured it out or the guy who can possibly
But
figure
I'm
it out?
not trying to win today. I'm building a team.
Yes, but winning today is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but you're not going to win today with either of those guys as your best player.
Well, one guy is taking his team to a playoff position.
You're so
that's why I have
stupid.
him. That's why
But
I'm
do you
choosing
think?
him above. Because I've seen him figure it out. I've seen him do it.
Yes.
The other
No
guy hasn't.
shit. I've agreed with you. But Zion's only played 19 games. So to me, it's not a big problem. You give him the more games, he's going to make that same progression.
What you're saying is as foolish as you saying, you picking Doncic over Harden in the top five. Because you're basing it on prospects that this guy will live up to the expectations he's been given. Not
Yes,
choosing the guy that's already
everything is telling me that he
made
will.
those expectations.
Everything is telling me that he will.
Okay, well,
Clear
everything's
clear
showing me that
indicators.
Morant has.
I don't know about that.
You can't argue otherwise.
Come when this is all over, come to my house, we'll dissect his game film for an hour. I'll make him look. I'll find lots of holes in his game.
Whose game?
And Ja's.
I can find many in Zion. Since that one game where he
Yeah,
shot
but I'm
4
admitting
threes, he's
that.
only attempted 2 more since then.
Yeah, because that's not his game, which I already acknowledged. He's gonna grow that part of his game.
Exactly. And what did we talk about Giannis? He's not at the Giannis level, but how quickly the teams pick up on what the hell Giannis is gonna do?
I think Zion can shoot better than Giannis right now.
Oh, give me a break, bro.
Has
the guy
Giannis
4 threes in his NBA career.
Has Giannis ever even attempted 4 or 5 3-pointers in a game?
Maybe. When his team was slapping by 30.
Exactly. All right.
But there's different expectations set on Giannis that he can't attempt 4 threes.
And there's higher expectations on Zion too. That's why you're giving him a higher standard to live up to because he was touted as the next biggest thing coming since LeBron James.
But I feel, you see, this is why I feel like the whole argument is against with choosing Zion over Ja. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, Zion is like a ratings angel." You know, like as soon as he's playing on the court, people want to watch.
No, but that's not what I take into effect. I'm trying to win on the court. That's irrelevant. Make a valid point.
That's what I'm attacking is winning, and who I've seen shown that they can win with a team that had no expectations to do anything. It's been Morant. It hasn't been Zion.
Oh God!
I'm sorry, bro. You can't argue otherwise.
No, the main thing you're using in this argument is that you haven't seen Zion play more than 19 games, which is so absurd.
Because like I'm saying with Doncic not knowing how he performs in the playoffs, I can't.
No, but that was more. No. That was more.
Think can happen.
No. That would be the same as if you've seen Zion only average 9 points a game this season, because I've seen James Harden fail every single time in the playoffs. I haven't seen Zion suck every single one of those 19 games. So those are not even close comparisons. You catch what I'm saying?
I do. But I'm just saying, you're foolish for thinking either.
And I think you're one of the dumbest people to be on a podcast ever. And I don't even know why people even watch us when they see you.
Bro, put up a voting poll. I'm telling you, more people.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. I'm here to educate the people, and you are the people. You believe what the media wants you to believe.
Zion is not shown to be able to do what Morant has shown he can do.
You should have stopped talking when I explained to you why having a point guard as your best player never results in winning. So what the hell is the point of building around a point guard?
Oh, this isn't new. You're talking about the past. Maybe Morant can be that difference. Maybe he can be that point guard to show that.
Really? Hold on. So
we've seen that happen.
Yes.
You said we haven't.
I said there's been one time in the last 20 years. And before we end this discussion, I'm going to explain to you one more thing. So the one point guard we have seen be the best player on the team and win was 2015 Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
Coming into the following season, what happens? LeBron makes Steph Curry his son. Okay?
Okay, but that's LeBron.
Slaps him around. Okay? And then what do the Warriors have to do? Well, we need somebody better than Steph, and from the small forward, let's go get Kevin Durant. Because Steph Curry, having your point guard as your best player, was not good enough to win against LeBron James, small forward. You cannot win in this league as of right now.
It wasn't just LeBron that series.
Okay, Kyrie too. Kyrie, great.
Points.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. In the final game 7, he had 40
final
points,
game.
buddy.
You're talking about he averaged over 30 for the series.
He did the shot. But everyone knows won that series for them.
Oh my God, I hate that argument. Stop talking.
Stop
talking. I'm about to end this. LeBron James had the best finals run in the history of the bloody world that series.
He didn't do it without help.
He had the fadeaway right before that to even make that Kyrie shot possible. And who had the block? Too. LeBron won them that game in that series. Do not tell me. Kyrie hit one great shot. Thank you very much. Fantastic shot. If LeBron didn't do every other thing leading up to that and after that, wouldn't have been a chance. So get that out of here. I'm telling you.
At the end of the day.
Hey, and you're talking about, today's NBA. So today's NBA is more point guard driven and shooting driven. So why hasn't more point guards won? More elite point guards
Not this season. This season's kind of
saying today's
NBA. Big guys. Because look at teams like Clippers, who their starting point guard is Patrick Beverly. Look at teams like
Clippers are undersized. What are you talking about?
yeah, but they don't have any guards really that they're playing with besides George.
Paul
Like
George and
Will
Beverly. And Lou
Beverly.
Williams. Lou Williams. What are you
Beverly.
talking about? Pat
Beverly.
Beverly is their starting point guard.
Exactly. It's an embarrassment.
He's there for
That's what I'm
defense.
saying.
And what about a
I
guy
feel like
named Lewis Williams?
huh?
What about Lou Williams? He plays more minutes than
Yeah.
Pat Bev pretty much.
But who's leading right now in the West? The big team. The guy whose point guard is 6'9", 240 pounds.
And that's what I'm saying. That's how you win. You need
No, but I'm
bigger
saying
guys.
this season, I think is starting to lean towards forwards.
No,
not
it's
point guard.
the Lakers are the only team that's that big, and Philly
And
just
they're gonna
sucks.
win. And Milwaukee.
And look at Philly. Oh, they're trying to build around Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. Well, we got to get Ben Simmons out of there. Then let Joel Embiid take over, and then they'll actually do something. I'm telling you that much.
Either way,
All right.
it's Morant over Zion.
It'll never be 8. We'll leave this. We'll check back in 5-10 years, see what's happened with their careers.
Well,
I'm
so
saying,
you
bro.
remember him down.
All right. We're moving on. All right. Since we love a good top 5 list here and in the mix, we're going to give you something a little different. We've talked about it briefly, random episodes, but we're going to give you our top 5 Canadian NBA players ranking-wise, right? Now, we have the same 5, 4, 3, and we disagree on our top 2. Why don't you tell them who our number 5 is and why we got him
So,
there?
at number 5, we both had RG Barrett from New York Knicks.
Why is he not higher?
He hasn't lived up to what people have thought. You know, his points are at what, about 13
14,
a
yeah.
game,
And
14 a game.
his shooting percentage isn't great. It's only like 42, I believe.
He's not making the biggest difference for the team as much as I thought he would.
He
But
got off to a great start and then really sucked for 2 months and then started to kind of figure it out before the pause. I'd say in the last 2-3 weeks he had more games where he was scoring 20 points a night, shooting
Yeah.
better than 40%. But there's still too many of those games in between where we'd have 13, 14 points on 39% shooting.
But
It's also a
they
struggle
thought-
for him. Like you talk about,
Yeah.
we just talked about Ja Morant. At least he's got some decent players in Memphis with him, right?
Yeah.
Barrett, the best player he plays with is Julius Randle. It's not very good.
I know,
Right?
but that's not his fault.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's low. He's in the worst situation of the
That's
guys
what
in our top 5.
I was surprised so many guys wanted to go to New York. But when I look at it, I'm like, New York just feels like a bad destination to go to.
No, nobody
There's
wants
too
to
many
go there
things-
anymore. That's why KD and Kyrie pulled the biggest coup in sports history and went across the street to Brooklyn.
Across the street. Good. But okay, we'll move on. Our number 4, we both had Dylan Brooks. From the
Dylan
Memphis
Brooks.
Grizzlies.
I really like this kid. I've been big on him since he was playing in Oregon. Watched every single game he played in that March Madness tournament. He's come a long way, man. He just secured the bag this season too, right?
Yeah.
And this season playing alongside a guy like Ja Morant has really helped him.
Who's been
get
able
him
to
the
make him a
ball.
lot better.
Yeah,
And,
I will say that.
You're starting to hear Dylan Brooks' name come out there a lot more now.
Yeah, you know what? He's a viable scoring option at this point in his career.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like he's averaging 15.7 on 40% shooting, 37% from 3. I think that 3-point stroke is going to get better. The field goal percentage is going to get better. He's only in his, I think, 4th season. He's taking steps. I don't know if he's ever going to get to that all-star level, but I think he's going to be a guy who can consistently give you 17, 18 a night.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
He's already almost there.
Yeah, he's at 15. I think he's going to be, a good second option on pretty much any NBA team. And he's a good defender too.
I know. And hey, if they do resume the season this year, he has a chance to play in the playoffs. It's just gonna make him a lot better.
Yeah, he can make some noise there too.
All right. So at number 3,
Number 3.
we had new addition to the Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins.
Now this one was hard for me to put him 2nd or 3rd, but why do you have him in 3?
So offensively, we've seen this year he took a big step up. He's averaging 25 points, I think.
No, what do you before he went over.
Before he came to Golden State.
Well, he started really well and then kind of fell off. But I think for the season with Minnesota, he was averaging 23 something.
My issue with him is not putting him above 3, is the impact he's had on on the teams that he's played for so far. To me, he's underperformed, especially when he was playing over at Minnesota. You know, that team had such high expectations, especially with all the rookies they had. And I know you also want to say we can't just blame him; we got to blame Cat too. But he was also in the situation. The guys that we have at number 1 and 2 made best of their situations. I just feel he didn't.
Yeah, so he's averaging 22 points on 45% shooting. That's what he's going to give you for the rest of his career. Now, the one thing I will dispute with you now and to anybody is he did not live up to the hype and disappoint. Drafted first overall, and those expectations are so lofty. What do you expect from a first overall pick? If you tell me I'm getting a guy who's going to give me 22 a night on 45% shooting, I'm probably going to take that. The
Yeah,
problem with Wiggins becomes it's just that extra gear. You know he's capable of more because he can give you 22 and 45% shooting in his bloody sleep. Like, he doesn't even look like he's given any effort out there or trying. So if he kicked that and stepped it up, improve the ball handling a little bit to shoot off the dribble, attacking the basket with more ferocity. The problem with
yeah,
Wiggins is you see he's capable of more. So I guess unjustly or justly we punish him for that. For me, it's not that he didn't live up to the hype, man. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is just as big to blame for this stuff
yeah.
in Minnesota. I just think the guy that I'd put at 2 fights more, and maybe right now I think I'd still say Wiggins is maybe a little bit better, but I think long term the guy I have at number 2, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, is going to be way better.
Oh, you just had to say right away who we had number 2. All right. Well, for me at 2, I have Jamal Murray.
Hold on. Why don't we just let's just say who we have at 1 then, and debate why we have
Okay.
different guys at 1.
So at 1,
You
I
have
got
Shea
my
Gilgeous at 1, which to me
man
is
Shea. Yeah. You
mind-boggling.
have
Jamal Murray.
How is that mind-boggling? Son of a bitch, bro. And the fact you said is mind-boggling, bro. Listen, this guy was put again in a situation in OKC where
Yep.
people thought they wouldn't even make the playoffs. Right? They lost Westbrook. They got
No.
Chris Paul, but Chris
I
Paul
thought
didn't
they
fall
would. I
off.
thought there would be 6 to 8, man. I thought they're gonna be pretty close to what
You thought they
OKC
could
was
be
before.
6.
6 to 8. 6 to 8 in the West isn't that good.
It is in the West
Here's
actually.
here's what I
It is in
said.
the West.
Here's what I. If Russell Westbrook alone could get OKC to 6th, that Chris Paul with Shea,
Westbrook was the MVP,
they could
bro.
get him close. Yeah, but
Huh?
Chris Paul is not like Chris Paul sucks. And Shea, we
It's not.
saw what he did with the Clippers. We knew he was going to be good and in the starting lineup. So I thought, they could be in that 6-8 conversation. Is all I'm
But
saying.
would you not agree that when Chris Paul was released in the last year with Houston, when he was leaving Houston, he was falling off. This was not the same Chris Paul we were used to, correct?
I don't know about falling off. Okay,
Not
sure,
falling, but
maybe.
it's not the same Chris Paul.
I think that also had to do a lot with he was disgruntled in Houston. Him and James Harden hated
He
each
showed
other,
it.
right?
He showed it.
Yeah.
But he also, when he came over to OKC, he had a guy in Shea who is just as motivated to win as he was. So maybe I think that's what rejuvenated him.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jamal Murray has a guy in Nikola Jokic who's such a who's the most dominant center to me. To me, he's above Joel Embiid.
He's 1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Shea doesn't have that in OKC. He doesn't have a number 1 or 2 at their position.
Hold on. What do you
team.
mean? He has the best teacher possible, Chris Paul.
He's a teacher, but he doesn't have the best player at that position.
Okay, Chris Paul's pretty good. Chris Paul's still averaging, I think, just under 20
Jokic
points.
is much better. Would you not agree?
Okay, it's debatable, man. Because Jokic is great offensively, but the guy can't run and can't move and is terrible on the defensive end of the ball.
Jokic is a center.
Yeah.
And a dominant center like that is freaking cream. Is a cherry on top of a cake for a point guard. And that's what Murray is.
Sure.
So,
okay.
I just feel like a lot of Murray's success, because his team has been second. They're second now, and they were first, I believe, last year.
Yep.
First, they're top 2. They've been staying top 2. I feel like a lot of that success, as much as it is from Jamal Murray, more of it comes from Jokic. And that's not the case in OKC.
I just want to ask you a couple questions. This has been Nikola Jokic's worst season in probably the last 4 seasons, right? Like this guy got off to the start. He got off to the first 2 months was like he didn't even look like the same player.
I know, yeah.
Right? It was utter horrendous. And then Denver's been ravaged by injuries. Paul Millsap's been out almost the whole season. I think the whole starting lineup was out at one point besides Jokic and Murray, and Jokic he wasn't doing much at that point. Jamal Murray, You can talk about the steps he's taken, but forget that because we're talking about currently right now. Their points per game, I think, is within 1 point difference, and their assists, I think, is within one assist difference as well. Let's see.
Yeah.
Shea's at four. What is he at? 4 or something?
Who? Shea?
Oh, he's at 3.3.
Yeah, but he plays the 2, not the 1.
Yeah, okay. I get that. And then Jamal Murray's at not in that high. Where is he at here? Assists. Oh, by the way, this website absolutely terrible. Basketball Reference.
Oh yeah, no, I don't even use that one.
Oh my god! I'm like,
Just
why
use
did
the
I click
score
it
app,
here?
bro.
Anyways, he's at 4.8. So
Yeah.
to me, it's the reason why I didn't put a guy like Wiggins higher. That lack of drive. Jamal Murray goes out there, and you talk about with Ja Morant, a guy who wants to take his opponent's head off. That is Jamal Murray. This guy, Ja Morant, goes for those dunks and doesn't complete them. Jamal Murray goes for those dunks and puts people on posters, and he's living in their nightmares the rest of their lives. And in the playoffs, we've seen him do it. I've seen him have success in the playoffs, come up with 30-point games in the playoffs and come up huge and get them dubs. And you're going to say, oh, they lost to Portland. Well, you know what? Portland was just a damn better team last year, right? Haven't seen that out of Shea yet. Played in the playoffs last season. Didn't do much. Clippers with an 8 seed. He was coming off the bench. But I've seen Jamal Murray. What?
Can we look at who each team played? They played the Golden State freaking Warriors.
I'm not.
Team that
I
no
just.
one
I
can
just.
beat.
I just said I'm not blaming Shea for that. If you listen to me, I just said,
No,
but
but
they
I'm
were the
saying
8 seed and he was coming off the
I'm
bench.
saying to mention playoff plays
Okay, sure,
between those two.
but no. Yes, you can. No, what I'm saying is,
Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets struggled against the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. They went 7 games with them.
that is one of the best coached organizations in the world, and that was this Denver team's first time
Where
in
is
the
that team
playoffs.
today?
Yeah, they're out of the playoff contention, but
Not even
Addis,
close to it.
what team makes the playoffs their first time and has no trouble? That group, their first time in the playoffs. The damn Raptors didn't. No team ever, unless you have LeBron James, somebody like that. Well, your group, first time being in the playoffs, and it's a cakewalk. I'm gonna go sweep somebody.
I'm not saying it'd be a cakewalk, but they underperformed by going 7 games with the 8
I don't
seed
know,
team.
man. Underperform your first time in playoffs. That's tough to say. Underperforming, man.
Listen, if you're a fan in Denver,
You're talking like
and your
Maverick
team
Carter right now.
is going into the playoffs at number 1, and you guys just struggled to go 7 games with the 8 seed team, that's called underperforming to me.
But now a different discussion. They were in a real number 1 seed.
They were, though. At the end of the day, they finished the season number 1, so they were.
Golden State was hopping around on 1 foot the whole season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, like let's be real here. They didn't give a damn about last year's regular season.
But then, hey, give me this then. They play Clippers in the first round, Denver. Did they make it out of that series?
Yes.
They struggled with San Antonio. Clippers took 2 games from Golden State.
See, your seeing of struggle is different than me seeing the struggle. Me, that's just growing pains. Your first time in the playoffs, like the Raptors had against Brooklyn. Like
first time in the playoffs against Doc Rivers Clippers, who were hungry and took 2 games from Golden State. They would
have figured it out. I don't know how I can prove it to you because it's not possible.
Prove it, bro. Prove it.
But you look at what Jamal does, and he makes other guys better. Team loves him, and he is already a 3-level scorer. Shea is not very good shooting 3-pointers. I don't want Shea shooting 3-pointers.
Fair.
Right? Jamal is more versatile right now. The playmaking, I won't even go that route because Shea's playing the 2. But still, playmaking just within the court vision and seeing the game, Jamal sees it better. It's a close one. I'm not going to say you're a bozo or a loser for thinking that Shea's better than Jamal. But Jamal, to me, I'm taking him over Shea. He's number 1 on my Canadian power rankings. Jamal Murray is going to be the reason why next year when Olympic qualifying resumes, he's going to be the reason why this team either gets over the hump or they don't for Team Canada.
Either way, those two top 2 Canadians is something to be excited about, especially for Team Canada.
Just to build on this Canadian basketball talk. So in that qualifying, we're going to be the same group as Greece. Now, the one good thing is our coach is still Nick Nurse. He says he's staying on. So he knows, if anybody knows how to stop the Greek freak, it's going to be Nick Nurse.
Yeah, he's figured it out. But does he have the tools to stop it, though? That's the question. Because he knows how to stop it, but the players also got to execute the plan.
You know who I'm putting on him? I'm putting, I think, Dwight Powell on him. Big body. Decent mobility. And Kelly Olynyk. No, for sure. But I'm saying you're going to crowd him with bodies, right? But that's going to be the first guy just to get in his grill and then you do the. So I think we'll get out of that group. But so in the actual Olympics, where do you
It's
project?
tough, bro.
Where do you project Team Canada going to the actual Olympics? I think they can be top 3, top 4, man. I think they can be on the
They,
podium.
really, I
And
don't know. It's
I
it's tough for me to see how much a difference Giannis can really like. I've seen him play a little
no
bit
no
for
no no no
Greece,
no. Hold
but
on, hold
like,
on. If Canada is in the Olympics, Greece is not.
that's what I'm saying.
So I'm
I'm
saying
talking
I'm
about
saying
whether if they
no,
make it.
no we're if we lose to Greece there, fold the Canadian Olympic men's basketball
Bro, Greece
program.
has the best player in the NBA today.
No, USA does. LeBron James. You
Sure,
just don't even get me going on this. All right, you know what I'm
sure.
saying.
But yeah, if Canada makes it out and they are in the Olympics, they're top 3, 100%.
I would say obviously U.S., Spain's there,
Yeah,
Argentina and Lithuania are sneaky type of countries, but I think if Canada gets it together, they can get past those countries and be in a podium
they're
position.
getting a lot older though too.
And
Those teams.
the one thing to keep in mind, guys like R.J. Barrett, they've already beaten America in international tournaments. It was the U18s. R.J. Barrett led Team Canada past the States for the
Yeah,
first time ever. But
yeah,
I'm
but
just saying,
it wasn't
no,
the
no,
States with LeBron James.
no, but I'm just saying that was the first Canadian victory over the States ever in basketball in men's competition. And they asked RJ Barrett when everybody committed to Team Canada for the qualifying tournament. Said, "Do you think you could take a team like the States?" He's like, "I've already beat the States, bro. Check me next time. We're get it." Like
I
they
like
have
the
the
attitude.
confidence.
But
They have the confidence to go up. They're not gonna be scared of these guys. They compete against them every day in the NBA, right? You know, other
exactly.
countries they don't see these guys. They see them on TV and they're
That's
so
what I'm saying.
high on a
I think
mantle to them.
the teams with the most amount of NBA players are gonna have the best chance in the Olympics, just because playing against other NBA players they're so used to that like it ain't gonna be like a
It's not a
shock
shock.
factor.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
especially when you run someone like LeBron who's jumping over everyone.
Yeah. All right. We'll close off with a couple quick topics. ESPN's The Last Dance, which I thought was supposed to be a Michael Jordan documentary, isn't? Debuted first 2 episodes. What are your initial thoughts on that?
It's cool. I don't know what like
Americans were
what
going off. Americans, because they saw it
I
Sunday
know.
night. I
It's
thought
cool.
I
It's
thought it was
cool to
Avengers
see.
Endgame of documentaries just dropped.
Yeah, I know. I thought so too until I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm like, it's cool. It's cool to see, but like I don't know. Like, what do you expect? You know the result. You know pretty much a lot of the things that have been going on. You know, like it's like the first episode to me was a highlight video of Jordan, and then the second episode to me was why Scottie Pippen was important to the team.
Yeah.
So I thought it was all gonna be about Jordan, but it's more about the outside guys from Jordan. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to see, but it doesn't shake any feathers. I don't know. It's nothing too special or crazy.
Yeah, the thing that was weird to me is yeah, if you're a basketball guy and you kind of know Jordan's story, there wasn't a whole lot of new information in those 2 episodes. It was
Yeah,
definitely cool seeing him, some locker room interaction, stuff like that.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
But
like okay.
I feel like the big storylines they addressed, everybody's supposed to be like wowed at that he had those scrimmages when he was at University of North Carolina rehabbing. We all knew that. Those
Mhm.
historic stories about that. We knew
Yeah,
about the historic second playoff game against the Celtics. A lot of this, there's a couple new things, but there's really the Scottie Pippen drama of how vastly underpaid he was.
yeah.
He actually held out to have his surgery on purpose. That was the most interesting stuff to me was Scottie Pippen stuff. So I get they called it the Last Dance, the Bulls' Last Dance, but it's been
Yeah,
marketed so much as a Jordan documentary, and I think that was the wrong way to go about it. And I think
I know.
now
Yeah,
the one thing that's hilarious to me is it's almost as if because it's documentary, Jordan has 8 or 9 rings instead of 6. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah,
Like people are getting so excited, like, oh, he's this high. Let's not forget the reason why this documentary happened. Jordan kept this footage. He owned the rights to it. It's in the vault for like what 15, 20 years. The day of the Cavs parade in 2016, the day when LeBron said he realized he passed Jordan, that's when Jordan's like, oh, no, no, now I got to do this documentary, right? It's a marketing ploy by Jordan to kind of
yeah.
say, no, I'm still the GOAT. Let me remind you and try and get you back in my corner. So you kind of got to read through the lines here and decipher what's kind of factual and okay, that's kind of cool, and what's kind of propaganda just for Jordan's camp, kind of, in my
I
opinion.
know. Yeah. The only thing I will say that I can kind of see, people always talk about that like killer winning mentality that Jordan and Kobe have.
Yeah.
And then they always say LeBron lacks it.
Yeah.
Watching I think it was the first episode, I can see why people think that, because LeBron coming into the league was expected to do well. Not expected to do well, but like people weren't doubting him as much as they were doubting guys like Kobe and Jordan. Because I was hearing Jordan
Yeah.
was
Third
saying that
overall
guys were
pick.
just
Three.
straight up, you're not 7 feet tall. You can't,
Yeah.
what's it called, make a difference for your team and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's where I feel like that mentality came from them being thought to, they can't have a big difference on the team to like, okay, I have to show it.
That
LeBron does just as much, but it's just he's never been doubted like these guys have.
that was probably one of the most interesting parts. The first two episodes, hearing
Yeah.
players actually talk like that they thought a guy couldn't carry a team because he wasn't
He's
seven
not
feet.
7 feet tall. Yeah,
Wow.
I
Right.
know.
So that's one of the biggest differences. And I know they talked about how Charles Oakley used to be Jordan's protector. He get hit a lot and stuff. But I
Yeah,
was watching that footage and I'm like, Payne ain't look that tough, man. I'm like, the defense ain't look that tough.
I know, bro.
Like
I'm
they're
sorry,
talking about he had a nice mid range on Larry Bird. Like Larry Bird played good defense. Like, what are you talking about? Larry Bird gave him 6 feet of space.
bro.
Like,
I'm sorry, but if LeBron's playing those guys, he's averaging 30, 30, and 30, bro.
yeah, like I saw people talking about you drop Jordan in today's game, he's averaging 40. And then I forget who it was. Mikal Bridges, he took heat for this because he sucks, right? But he said you drop LeBron into that game, he's getting
I
90.
seen
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry. Mikal Bridges sucks, but he's right. Like
He's true, bro.
LeBron's getting 30, 30, and 30, or he's getting 50 points a game. Are you kidding me? Larry Bird is so scrawny. You think Danny Ainge, or I forget who the other guy was, their primary defender was on Jordan? LeBron's twice their size. They're
Like,
not stopping this guy.
bro, his athletic ability is like nothing they've seen. Jordan had it too, but LeBron has the athletic ability and the size. So
Like
it's like, what are you doing?
your centers better be 7 feet, like 280 pounds. But
Yeah.
LeBron's freight train is coming down that lane.
Even then, Giannis, it doesn't help.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
it doesn't help.
LeBron sunned him that last weekend of the season.
Exactly.
Right? So that's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I like discussing old era to new era, but I'm happy we at least both agree you drop LeBron in that era. He's more than the greatest of all time. He's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and everybody put together into one.
I know, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll close out with just a bit of UFC talk then, if you don't mind. So
Yes, sir.
I was reading Ariel Hawani this morning. He was telling me, well, the world, not just me, that if Ferguson and Gaethje fight May 9th?
Yep.
240 Yusuf T 248 was it or 249 be rescheduled. If that happens, that Diaz will be lined up to fight Conor McGregor, and that'll
Mhm.
severely benefit Diaz. How does that result in Diaz and McGregor part 3 that I thought were so like tired and past?
Here's the thing, though. You got to look at the landscape of who Conor has to fight. So Conor wants to fight Khabib. Ramadan starts this Friday. Doesn't end till June. Well, 30 days. So just before June. That means Khabib's not training for this whole month. He usually does not take fights around that period, right? Because he likes to have a full training camp.
Yeah,
So I don't
makes
see him
sense.
coming back. I don't see him coming back till at least September, if he does come back and if everything's okay. Gaethje and Ferguson are fighting. Those are the two other top guys at lightweight. Who else is there for Conor to go after? The only other sensical thing is Diaz.
What about Masvidal? Whatever happened to that?
Thing is, Dana White doesn't want it. Usually how it goes,
Why?
Dana White doesn't want it. It ain't happening. Because as he said, he's too big for Conor. A lot of people.
That's what I don't like. Dana White says we put on the biggest fights every time, right?
Yeah.
But now what he's doing by not giving us Masvidal versus Conor, if Conor wants it and Masvidal wants it and Dana doesn't, he's trying to protect his asset and his potential future earnings and marketing. Because he knows if Conor gets his ass whooped by Masvidal, he's going to take a step down. People are not going to see Conor in that same light. He's not going to be as big of a draw probably going forward. So he doesn't always put the biggest fights together. He needs to stop saying that. Because
Here's
he
the
cares
thing,
about
though.
just making his money and protecting his assets.
Masvidal is lined up to fight for the welterweight title against Kamaru Usman. I'm thinking, like, okay, of course, what's it called? He'd love to fight Conor and McGregor and stuff. From what I've heard, you don't get your biggest payday fighting Conor. You get the same pay that you got your last fight because you're on contract. So why would he choose Conor over fighting for a title, you know?
Well, if he's on a contract, well, then that's his own issue. He shouldn't have signed such a long contract. Do what Connor
No, but
does.
I'm saying guys, Connor's his only option at this point is Diaz, and if Diaz wants to come back and fight, which I don't know if he does, because it's a good payday, but
I think Diaz wants to squash Connor, but I think the question's gonna be obviously fights now. The pay-per-view, you're gonna have more sales because the only thing going on. But I don't know on the business side how much they're going to be effective. You're losing all of that gate revenue. UFC tickets are not cheap. They're hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars anywhere in the lower bowl. So is Connor going to get the same payday when there's zero gate revenue?
Well, the reason Connor's getting a lot of money, well, of course, gate revenue, but pay-per-view buys too. Pay-per-view buys
Fine,
go
for sure.
up
But when you
insane.
lose all of that gate revenue, all of it, how does that affect the earnings?
Pay-per-view buys are just going to go up because all those people that would have paid for seats at the fight are just going to buy it on pay-per-view now.
I guess. And you have to consider the way Connor thinks. I don't know if he wants to fight in an empty arena. His personality. He feeds off that crowd and stuff. I don't think a lot of fighters will, but I think a guy like Connor, he wants that raw energy and electricity coming from the crowd that he feeds off of.
But I feel like a lot of fighters also but kind of like the idea of the whole fight island, no audience, because it's so raw to the artists of mixed martial arts. It's like you go in there, there's literally no distractions. It's you and the other guy who's the better fighter.
Yeah, so those fighters, I don't know, that kind of seems like weak mentality. You need the perfect scenarios.
Yeah.
Exactly perfect scenario to be at your best.
Of course. But now you have it. So now no one can give me an excuse as to losing. You can't say, oh, my head wasn't in it. I walked in there kind of cold, nervous. Bro, it's you and the other guy.
You could still pull a Deontay Wilder and say your suit was too heavy.
You ain't wearing no suit when there's no audience, bro. Right there.
All right.
But, I don't know. It does line up Diaz and Connor. My only thing is I don't think Diaz wants to fight anymore. And if he does want to fight, the only fight he would take is Connor, so it would work. But
that's what I'm saying. I've seen him talking.
I don't know if Diaz is training. I don't know if he's staying in shape because Connor's options are wait for Khabib or take the Diaz fight. Because if Ferguson and Gaethje are fighting, that's all team. What's it called? That's the most violent fight you could have in the UFC. That fight is going to go. Both those guys at the end of that fight are just going to be battered. They're going to need a few months off. I don't see anyone else available for Khabib when he is ready to come back. So I feel like Connor's going to wait for Khabib. But if Diaz does want to come back, that's the fight we're going to see.
Yeah, but Connor's not even lined up to fight Khabib when he comes back, I swear. It's going to be Ferguson or Gaethje before Connor. Khabib does not want to fight Connor.
Yeah, I know. But Dana White can make that change by saying, hey, I'll pay you whatever million.
No, but Khabib said, I don't need the money. He literally said, I wouldn't take $100 million to fight Connor.
I know, yeah. But, hey.
I think it's gonna be the winner of Ferguson and Gaethje is fighting Khabib, and then Connor takes the loser of that.
It should be like that, yeah. But
is that math too hard to understand?
Here's the thing, though. You have Ferguson beat Gaethje. You really gonna match up Khabib and Tony Ferguson for the 6th time after 5 times it's been canceled? You think people are really gonna get excited for the 6th time?
Yes.
No one's gonna believe it. You gotta schedule that fight behind closed doors. No one's gotta know, and you gotta be like, hey guys, by the way, Saturday, Khabib's fighting Ferguson. And just do a weigh-in. It's a tough sell because how many people are buying? So
here's the thing then. Here's the thing. Then it's gonna be Ferguson and Connor because Ferguson has said the only 2 people he wants to fight are Khabib and Connor. So I'm surprised he's even accepted to fight Gaethje here. Maybe he had no option because his contract was signed.
Well, also because he just did a whole training camp, right? So they're all ready to fight. Yeah. It's just when can we fight?
So maybe then if Khabib is the one who's being difficult, screw you. Connor and Ferguson are gonna fight, and Diaz, you can stay in hibernation retirement.
How I see it playing out is exactly that. I feel like Connor's gonna fight the winner of those 2 guys, and then the winner's that's gonna fight Khabib. Because I don't see Diaz coming back, and I don't see Khabib just taking the Connor fight because Dana White told him to.
Yeah. Just because I mentioned Deontay Wilder there, did you see Anthony Joshua's comments about him? He said, yeah, we are cut from different cloths. He's where there starts with the B and ends with the H. I'm like, oh, come on. AJ, you got to just say he's a bitch if you're going to say it.
Here's the thing, though. when AJ lost and you were Wilder, you dished it out to him. You said he ain't got no heart. He ain't a true champion.
He gave it to him hard.
If you can dish it out, you gotta be able to take it. Wilder cannot. He's gotta be able to take it at this point because he talked all that shit and you lost. So I love him, but
yeah. What was the date for Fury and Wilder Part 3? Wasn't it June?
It was supposed to be in July, but they pushed it to October.
Have they? They announced that?
Yeah.
I totally missed that. God damn. So that means AJ and Fury is going to be that much further away.
I don't even think that AJ and Eddie Hearn and those guys, they're too.
I don't know, but what Eddie Hearn, because AJ's next fight's already been decided upon. I forget the fellow's name.
Yeah, it's his Pulev.
Yeah, right? Because he had to, because that guy's whatever, one of the contenders. Mandatory, exactly. And then there's supposed to be another mandatory, but Eddie Hearn said we could probably get out of that one to fight the winner of Wilder and Fury.
This is my problem with boxing. My problem with boxing is not the weight classes. Is because they have 90 titles and all these guys are obligated to defend each title. So now they got to fight these guys that most people don't even care for them to fight instead of fighting the actual best guys.
But usually, correct me if I'm wrong, one guy doesn't end up with 4 of the 5 belts.
What do you mean?
Like, when's the last time a guy? Where did AJ collect all these belts from? He unified them. There's in so many different fights. They were spread out through so many different guys, and then they all got unified through AJ winning.
The last guy to do it was Tyson Fury.
Yeah, and then he left for a while.
Exactly. He gave up all the belts.
And then started drinking Diet Cokes and came back even
That's
stronger.
Crazy, bro. Can you imagine drinking, what was it, 30 Diet Cokes a day?
30 to 40.
I can't even have one, bro, let alone 30.
Diet Coke tastes so bad.
I know. If you're going to have a Coke, just go all out.
Have a regular Coke.
Yeah, like,
I wonder, is Tyson Fury the type of cat who goes to McDonald's and says, give me a Big Mac combo with a Diet Coke? Love those guys. Love those guys.
3 Big Mac combos.
But the Coke's got to be diet. That's going to save me. Big difference.
You know what it is? I think they start with the diet and then they actually start liking the taste. I can't stand the taste, but we have a buddy of ours, Andrew, who loves Diet Coke.
Anytime
I drink like 3 a day.
Anytime we're getting together, going to his place. Jay, can you bring me a Diet Coke? I guess. All right. Any closing remarks on anything we discussed this in the UFC there or boxing?
Not really. I'm hoping that the event does go down May 9th because I'm dying for UFC event. Like I'm for any event. If they told me there's a curling championship today, I'm excited. You know, I just need something.
I don't know,
May
man.
9th ain't too far away. Give it to me, please.
Listen, 2014 Olympics when I was watching curling in the cafeteria at high school. Y'all were ripping me and Canada was winning gold medals.
Yeah, at this point I'm down too.
And now the tables have turned. So it's April 22nd, May 9th, less than 20 days away. Can they pull it off? We'll see. I'll give you my opinion next week as to whether it's going to happen because I've been pretty right when telling you when Dana White is lying to you. So for Adis Kuchkovich, I'm Jay Boyle. Thanks for watching this episode. Stay safe, folks.